Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the village, the township, those entities that make laws, regulations, and ordinances that affect you out there.
And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Addison Township, or Oxford Township, these are the people that you elected, and the commissions and the committees that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you attended that important meeting or not. And that is why we're here.
Yes, partially. We're also here for the humor that bubbles to the top from these meetings.
Just like cream.
Just like cream. Yeah, and we want to identify the movers and the shakers.
The movers and the shakers, the salts and the pepper. No.
Right. But we're going to talk about three different meetings today. First meeting is going to be the Village Oxford ZBA. They had another special meeting.
Zoning Board of Appeals.
Yeah, for the village. Mm-hmm. Not to be confused with the township, because they have their own. And also the Oxford Area Communications Commission, which you were there.
I was there.
And Polly Ann Trail. We'll talk about that briefly.
All right.
And hopefully, shall we get on with it? Tally-ho? Well, you could do that.
Or as they say in court, let the perjury begin.
Perjury begin. By the way, folks, there's one other thing that we do here, particularly him. He spreads rumors.
Hey.
So be careful. Yeah,
but he confirms them.
Yeah, well, on the air, but off the air, I say, why did you say that? Why did you do that? You say, I don't know.
Now I'm in trouble.
Right. So anyway, the Village of Oxford. Let's talk about the ZBA. Joe Bullen, who's been on the ZBA for a number of years. By the way, I didn't know this, but he was also a village manager at one time. Did you know that?
Really? How far back?
Take a note.
Take a note.
Okay. Anyway, he was. Joe was very active in the community for a number of years. Was involved, I think, with the the Central Park that we have, or the
we have Central Park.
What's that thing down?
Centennial Park.
Centennial Park. That one.
Central Park.
Yeah. We'll call it Central Park.
Wow.
It's as big as New York's park. Have you ever been to New York and in that park?
It might be. It might be about as big as the pond.
Right. Well, it actually is a little smaller than
Actually,
New York
the pond
park.
is bigger.
It is. Yeah, it would be. So anyway, so they called the meeting, and what it was is a special meeting for the ability for this individual and a resident to build a garage, add on to his home.
Okay.
His name is John Demetrius. John Demetrius. And he lives on 41 Park Street. It's a R2 single-family residential area.
What's the difference in an R2 and an R1?
R1 and R2, two-family capability as opposed to one.
Oh, as opposed to R2D2. Okay.
R2D2. I think it sailed that way, whatever it is. Anyway, you want to spread a rumor here?
No.
Okay.
Robots only.
There's your chance.
Robots only on R2D2.
Gee, whatever. Anyway, so Chris Corey, the consultant for the village, he explained that this lot that this sits on actually is on a corner lot. And when it was established that this home was going to be built there, they had a choice of either being on Pontiac Street or a side street, which was Park Street. And they chose Park Street as the frontage.
Okay.
Because it's kind of, where's the front of this building?
Are you saying, and now they have a problem?
Yeah, it could have a problem. It could, and he explained the problem throughout, as far as the lot size. And you're required, for example, 30 feet in the back for setback. And depending if you're on the front of it, it made a big difference. If you call that the front as opposed to the side as the front. So anyway, he said...
depends what way you're looking.
Right. Anyway, the consultant said that under the circumstances, everything actually conforms to this building. I cut to the chase here. Conforms to building this...
I was wondering when you were going to get around to it.
Is going to conform to have this garage, except, get this, it's got a 4-foot overhang on one end.
Oh, one of those California roofs, or what?
Right. And actually, the 4-foot overhang.
A 4-foot overhang?
Right.
That's a big overhang.
Right. Made it so that it was non-conforming. That could be an issue. But he said everything else was good, and the non-conforming issue of the 4-foot overhang had really not a whole lot to do with it because it didn't affect any of the neighbors, and their lot size or their lot line. So he suggested that they go ahead and go forward with this thing. So they had quite a discussion about about the lot lines as well as the overhang and that kind of thing. And they said, well, what's the overhang for? Well, the overhang is to keep from getting dripped on water when you come out of the garage, you know, and that could happen. Thunder, lightning, all
Unless
that kind of
you
thing.
go out 5 feet.
Yeah, right. So anyway, so actually the owner of the property, he said, well, if we had to cut back, he said we would, but we would hope not to, because the design is already in place.
Right.
So anyway, so they hashed it out, beat it around between the members of the ZBA board. And they said, hey, we thought it was a good idea. Let's do a test and find out, if it meets all the criteria. So, there's a number of different items.
A test?
Yeah, they have a testing process that, is there any unnecessary issues by building this building that would affect the neighbors, for example? The neighbor on the
actually-
left, neighbor on the right.
They have a little checklist?
Right. Is the runoff going to be a problem? All kinds of things, they talk about. And they go through the checklist, and all they need is 3 of the items.
Are they saying that, is there more or less rain going to fall on this property now that the building is built as before?
It could be. That could be an issue. Who knows?
Who knows?
Here comes the flood. Anyway, so anyway, all they need to do is find 3 things that, they had, the owners of the property had no control over.
Right.
And it wasn't their fault that it occurred and would be approved. So that's what happened. They right away, bang, 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 3 things were labeled that, it wasn't their fault, but it was under the conditions, they should be granted, the permit to build.
But what's the rest of the story?
The rest of the story is that they took a vote, they all approved it, they thought it was a great idea. And so now, as a matter of fact, the final quote was, go ahead and dig your hole, build your building. And when it was all finished, one of the members of the board, ZBA board, he said, I have a question.
Uh-oh.
And and Joe Bullen.
Before you walk out that door.
No, that was already approved. But
Oh,
Joe
okay.
Bullen said, yes, what would that question be, as the chairman? And he said, I drove by there, and he said they've already got the foundation in for the garage. They've already started to put up the walls for the garage. They just don't have the roof trusses in yet.
Oh, I think the French call that fait accompli.
Yeah, Right, something like that. But anyway, he says, the question I have is, if he had to go before the ZBA board to get approval of it, how come they went ahead and started to do this stuff? And Joe says, well, that's a very good question. He said, why they started. And Joe Young was there, and he said, well, the permit apparently was issued by the building department. And I don't know if it was contingent, but they could do a foundation, that kind of thing, because it was within the requirements,
Right.
of the ordinances. So they said if everything conformed to the ordinances except for the roof line, that would be settled in the ZBA, because zoning board of appeals, or the zoning board of appeals would be the legislative group that
Right.
could change the planning commission's
And that
position
was
on this.
changeable up to that point.
It was.
Okay.
Yep, and that's what they did. They changed it. And we'll talk about that more when we come back right after this.
Hello, I'm Dawn Medici, and this is Jeff Kines. We're with Oxford Township Parks and Recreation, and we're out at Oakwood Lake Township Park today. I'd like to share with you some of the upcoming dates to mark your calendars. This April 8th, the spring-summer brochure will be mailed to all village and all Oxford Village and Township residents. Please take a look at that, because we're having some great events and programs for you for the spring and the summer. A couple of things to check out is we are partnering with Aqua Swim Club this year and offering their aquatic programs through Parks and Recreation, so you can give us a call and we can get you registered for aquatics. Our Fun in the Sun camp registration will start on Monday, April the 18th, so please look for that in the brochure and check out the dates that you want to register your kids for summer camp. In addition, our seniors are playing bingo on Wednesdays and Fridays at the community center and the village offices. So come on out and play some bingo with the seniors. They'd love for you to join them. And Last, the Snowman and Me contest is coming to a close. We have had a few photos submitted, so please stop in Parks and Recreation and take a look at those photos that residents have submitted and vote on your favorite so that they will, the winner will be on the cover of the winter brochure at the end of this year. So please come on in and check those out and vote. Jeff?
Hi, we've got some exciting news. This year we're going to be putting in 18-hole disc golf. This will be where the 18th hole is roughly going to be. This is going to be a process through the spring and summer. It should take us 3 to 4 months to get it completed. It will be a tough course because it's going to be through the woods. Not a lot of open holes, but it'll be fun. It'll be a good way to get out, enjoy the park. So that's coming. A couple other features of the park. We have 2 lakes here, multiple trails that you can walk. Mountain bike, no motor vehicles, walk your dogs, a lot of things to do out here in the park. You'll see every kind of wildlife there is in the area in this park. We're back at Oakwood Lake Township Park again. We're on the east end of the park. Just give you a little update as to what you see behind us. We came in here this winter and we cleared out everything around the lake, behind the lake, and what we want to do is open this area up, possibly picnic area, some tables, a nice place to come out and spend the afternoon and look around.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we just got through talking about the Oxford Village ZBA. Next, we're going to talk about NOTA.
North Oakland Transportation Authority.
You have it. Okay. Bill Dunn is the chairman of that. Bill Dunn, of course, is a supervisor of Oxford Township. Does a great job
Yep.
conducting a meeting. No nonsense person. Let's get right on with it. Did the Pledge of Allegiance, minutes.
They have a lot of members on that board.
They do. They do. They have quite a few.
Right.
I'm trying to think. What do they have? 7?
I think it's
Maybe
more,
9.
I think it's,
It's
more.
9.
I think it's 9.
It is 9. I'm pretty sure. If not, we'll spread the rumor. If you only have 7, you now have 9, according to him. Okay. We're assuming it is 9. But anyway, they have some pretty good, qualified people that sit on that board. First person they asked to give a presentation was the director.
Len Gustafson.
You have it. And she presented the bills, and the bills were in the amount of $75,565.30.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So they'd already looked at the
That's a lot of
expenses.
gas.
It is a lot of gas.
No.
Actually,
They have a lot of other things.
They have a lot of overhead. A lot of people, employed too.
Vehicles to
A lot of
maintain,
vehicles to maintain.
vehicles to buy.
A lot of tires that go flat. Maybe not.
No.
They're new vehicles, most of them.
Yeah.
But they do have some new ones coming too, by the way.
And these aren't your ordinary vehicles. They have to provide for wheelchair access
They
and
do.
a few other things.
Yeah. People got tired of tying a rope around a wheelchair and pulling them down the road. That
But
won't
it-
work anymore.
Yeah,
They
thought
had to
it,
have-
well, they thought it would be fun.
They had to have all the equipment for that, and it all comes with these particular buses. They're and by the way, the drivers do a great job of picking up individuals and delivering them back.
And
Particularly delivering them back.
that's
It's
right.
a good thing.
And that's for all of Oxford and Addison Township.
It is. Yep. And so
in
they said,
cooperation with the SMART.
yeah. Good bus service in this area, I have to say. And you voters, voted for it. So, good job. They said, "Is there any old business?" Nope. No old business. That's good. Move right on with
No
it.
old business?
No old business.
No overhangs?
No overhangs on this one.
Okay.
New business. NOTA is being restructured as a company, as a corporation, as such. And the board, all the township boards have to approve it. In other words, they have to review what NOTA has requested.
Was
and
this
make the approval.
self-initiated or required by the state?
Actually, it was self-ignited by the attorney, who is Bob Davis, who said, you need to update this. You need to become a entity as such, a corporate entity.
Ah,
So they've been in the process of doing the proper paperwork to bring this together.
to what advantage?
To what advantage? Because then when a decision is made, it incorporates everybody, and they have certain protections that come with a corporation that they normally wouldn't have.
So basically, it's kind of like the interlocal agreement that the Oxford Cable Commission has.
Very much like it.
Okay,
Matter of fact, almost identical,
well then,
almost the same.
he probably wrote it.
Well, Bob Davis is their attorney. I
I
got
know.
a feeling that's probably what happened. It's probably not unlike the contracts that they set up and the agreements with the village and the township as well.
Yeah.
Because I think he services those areas as well. But there are other attorneys too. But anyway, Bob's all over the place. Every meeting I go to, he seems to be there. He's doing a good job, by the way. So anyway, so they have made adjustments to it. Matter of fact, Bruce Pearson from Addison Township, who also sits on this board, said that they have reviewed it at Addison Township level at their trustee meeting, and they've pretty much agreed that everything looks okay, but they're going to send it back in case there's any adjustments. They want to see a final proof, before they take a vote on.
Yeah, sometimes these agreements take quite a while for everybody to get their input and little adjustments that, little tweaks here and there.
Yep, it could happen. As a matter of fact, they said on, at the board level here at the North Oakland Transportation Authority that that's exactly what they're doing, is making the adjustments. So when that happens, they said that they'll produce a finished copy, which will go to each of the townships for their approval. Once that's approved, it'll come back, and then the
Is it
rest-
just the townships, or
would
is
have
it
to
the
be
townships
registered.
and villages?
I believe it's township, could, and probably the villages too, if they're incorporated.
Okay.
So, because they're a separate
Entity.
entity. Well, not really, they're actually connected
Well, they
to
are.
the township.
It's an overlap, but
Yeah.
they're separate.
They have a tendency to say, well, it's the village and the township, two separate, groups. Not true.
You're digging a hole.
Yeah, they're digging a hole. Yeah, you're the township. Let me see, getting taxed by the township, and you're getting taxed by the village, and you're part of the township, so otherwise you wouldn't be paid tax. You have, well, we can go on and on with this, but you can have the
let's
sheriff's
not.
department from the township that covers the village, and I mean, there's a lot to this.
Yep, boy.
It becomes more complex. I think through the years, the politicians have made it really complex, so you don't really understand what's going on.
That's why they make Excedrin.
Is that why?
That's right. It gives you a headache trying to think
It
about
gives you a
those
headache
things.
thinking about it. Yeah, it does, folks. If it doesn't give you a headache, it gives him a headache. I know it does. So anyway, they went on with this, and they said that she also, Lynn said that she has a request for a subscription for a particular professional magazine that she's
Okay.
asked for. So
No, that's good.
and that's a whole lot of money. It might break them, $89. Actually, their general fund is pretty well set right now. They're pretty sound.
Where does their
as an
funding come from?
organization. Comes from townships, actually. There's percentage comes off taxes that, the township residents and the village
There used to be
residents approve.
considerable funding from the state or the county at one time, but I think that's been reduced, hasn't it?
Well, there are grants which are
Right,
available
right.
that they use all the time. They have a couple of grants, for example, for vehicles
Right.
that they're working on right now. And by the way, Lake Orion is involved in this too, in Orion Township.
Oh,
I
that's right.
believe. So can't forget them. So there's Lake Orion.
I don't think Brandon's involved with it, are they?
Brandon is not.
Okay.
I think they run under Smart Bus.
Right. But so does,
Yeah.
it's a complicated thing.
Yeah,
Gives you a headache.
Here goes the bus. Here comes another one. different brand. But anyway,
Because I know NODA cooperates with SMART.
yeah,
So
they do.
it's-
How'd you know that?
these things come to me in a dream. I don't know.
I've heard that story before. I don't know if I can believe it,
I
but
call it a
anyway,
revelation.
you call it a revelation, huh? Okay. Bruce Pearson just enlightened everybody about the open house that he had too,
Oh,
and very successful.
how about the one at the township?
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I thought it was his house. I don't know.
Why were you at his house at a?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you weren't invited.
But
that's why.
I've been over to the new township offices, and they're really quite nice.
Bruce said he was going to have one at his house, but he wasn't going to invite you. So
Oh, well.
that's probably what happened.
Same old story. I don't know.
Al Brooks Patterson actually cut the ribbon on that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he was president. He gave a short speech.
Which is unusual for Bruce.
Unusual. He said, Bruce, you only have 30 seconds. Get on with it.
And he went, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, everybody knows Bruce Bruce Patterson. I changed his name to Bruce Patterson.
Okay, we just did.
We just did. Okay,
You're so
make a
so
note. Send it to Al Brooks Patterson. Tell him his name is now Bruce. All right, we can do that. And tell
Yeah.
Bruce Pearson his name is now
Brooks.
Brooks. We'll work that out. We'll get back with you with that one right after this, folks. Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we just got finished with NODA.
NODA!
And we're going to now talk about the Oxford Area Communications Commission meeting.
That's right.
You were there.
OACCC.
Yeah, you were there.
I was there.
Okay, first thing he did is Pledge of Allegiance. Good
Yep.
thing. Minutes. Ran through the minutes for March.
2 sets of minutes.
Yep. 2 sets of minutes you did.
That's right. Well, they had to revise the one from February, but it was a little
you,
tweak.
You have something to do with that, right?
What?
You have to. Aren't you the one that put them together?
No,
No? who puts those together?
Terry.
Oh, Terry does.
That's
wow.
right.
That's a big job for Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put them up on our website eventually.
Yeah. Terry's our executive producer here and director, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so she does
And she
that.
volunteered to do that, which is a really nice
Wow,
job.
that saves them a lot of money.
Absolutely.
Unless she puts down overtime. No, she doesn't get paid overtime.
No.
Well, that's another subject. Let's get on with it. Anyway, the first thing that came up was bills. Not bill service, but bills.
Okay.
$20,554.05.
20,000?
Yeah.
I think it was maybe like 30,000.
I don't think it was.
Okay.
He's our accountant.
Never mind. Okay.
Okay. You got that one wrong, didn't you? No, maybe not.
Well,
Okay. Misread rumor. Okay. They talked about the employers or employees handbook. That's been going on forever, hasn't it? It's
That's
been kind
right.
of like a ping pong ball.
It's color coded now. It's yellow.
It is color coded. Except now it's been turned over to the attorney.
Right. There's some adjustments that still have to be made, maybe like addendums to it, that be separate documents relating to background checks and driver's license checks and possibly even credit card. But
Yep.
those are going to be separate little documents, and it looks like the book itself is pretty much intact.
Okay. And I know that the questions that are posed to the attorney, Bob Davis, is supposed to be back and, recognition given
I'm
to
sure,
his-
outside of any questions that we may have asked, I'm sure he's going to scrutinize that entire document
You think?
because he's that thorough.
Yeah, right.
Lawyers are,
Right. Well, they had quite a conversation about that, as you know.
Yeah.
And anyway, after they finished with all that chitter chatter,
Judge Jetter?
communication, you call it communications, though. You call that communications among those
Yes.
who communicate, right?
They
Okay,
communicate.
we got it. Okay, next thing that they did mention, though, is insurance. Such things as accidents. If you're driving, for example, to a work shoot, for the station, you have an accident, as opposed to you finish the shoot, you're now driven to McDonald's, you have an accident there, what happens,
Well,
right?
should have gone back to the work and dropped it all off.
Take that as a hint, folks. That's what you do. Okay. So anyway, so they did cover, that part of it. Also, they talked about background checks, which I found rather interesting. Didn't you? In what way?
Well, for any new employee coming in, there should be a background check. I mean,
Right.
that is a standard procedure with most companies and municipalities. In addition to which, outside of checking for any potential criminal offenses, there's also the driving record, because our employees have to drive their cars to various assignments. So we want to be sure that they have
Yeah.
nothing hanging over their heads, as it were.
Right. And I think in order to start that process off, I think you get a waiver from them to approve it.
Right,
Is that
and
correct?
that's what those addendum documents are that I was talking about. And once that's presented to them and they sign them, then we can go ahead and do the appropriate checks.
Well, it's not like a top security clearance that you'd have in the military, for example, where the FBI comes to your house and knocks on the door.
But it's close to it. No.
Well, after he gets finished cutting your wrist, getting blood samples, sending those into, not the FBI though, the
but it's
state
a-
of Michigan.
Yeah, it's just a
That's
standard
good. It'll
procedure.
get lost
Yeah,
anyway. So you'll never see it come back. Right?
We're not interested in whether your eighth cousin, thrice removed,
No.
got involved with a fracas with the police. No.
No, probably interested in the murder cases, that kind of thing. Fender benders, 6,000 traffic tickets, things like
Oh,
that. Could be a problem.
Little red lines, little red flags.
Yeah. Well, the
It's
thing
standard,
is,
it's standard stuff. It's not that obtrusive, I don't think,
okay, so says you, make a note
or
of it.
invasive,
Okay.
or whatever it's called.
Got it. Okay, then they decided to go into a closed session. You remember that?
No. It was a closed session.
Right. Anyway,
Yeah, actually.
Bill Service, the station manager, said, you know, after they found out that the closed session was concerning a possible building relocation, you know, for a studio at some point, who knows when. It's kind of like the road improvement that they're going to have for Oxford 20 years from now.
Oh, sure.
But anyway, they're going to, you know, address this issue in a closed session. And Bill Service says, hey, wait a minute. Shouldn't I be in on that meeting, being the manager? And Buck Cradman says, oh, no. None of your business. No.
Oh,
Something like that. And Bill goes, Earth.
but it's where we live and where we work.
Right. So anyway, so they say, well, okay, then let's go on without Bill Service. We're going to throw him out of here. So that's the way that went down. They had their closed session. And when that was all done, they came back from the closed session. And they said, is there a motion that we should make, you know, to approve what went on in the closed session? And they said, yeah, we approve what we had discussed in the closed session. Duh. Talk about secretive.
Closed sessions are like that, you know.
Yeah. Now, maybe we
Their
should...
lips are sealed, you know. They took an oath, and
Right.
there was a ceremony and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, maybe we should do a background check on these guys. I'm not sure.
Oh, hey.
Did I say that? No, he said it, not me. Okay. So anyway, they did make a motion to go ahead with the meeting. They did bring up the subject. I think it was Sue Bassardit, about franchise fees.
Uh-huh.
You know, from the township. You recall that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Apparently, the township needs about $10,000, $5,000 to bring in an internet system from Charter.
Right, and that's going to service the sheriff's department down below.
Right.
And I don't know, is it going to service the people in the township itself? would
no,
think it- Okay.
well, it will upstairs, you know, where the administrative
And
building is.
part of that is for installation, and the other part is for the yearly fees that may occur.
$100 per month
Something
is
like
the fee
that,
from
yeah.
Charter. So,
Right.
and when that's done, they're going to come back, I think, for more money that they appropriate normally under franchise fees.
Mm-hmm.
Franchise fees normally come to the studio, which they provide 100% in the past
Right.
for operating expenses and.
But it hits the township
Equipment.
first before they agree to let it all go.
Right, but this is the first time that they've actually put a stop to the franchise fees.
Well, they didn't put a stop to it, they just put a tap on it.
Well, yeah, for the next at least 10 years or longer.
What?
For the $100 a month, it's going to continue.
Oh, right. It's
Isn't it?
like, I don't know what you'd call it, a sinking, not a sinking
No.
fund, but that $5,000 will eventually be exhausted, and
Right.
then they'll make a decision what to do after that.
Right.
It may be that they'll tap
Well,
another
it'll be the
$5,000,
installation-
or
right.
they may take it out of their
Well,
own
it's for the
funds.
installation fee to start with, to
Right,
get that thing in
right,
there, and then the rest is going to be fees, you know.
That's a
to do.
decision that'll be made in 3 or 4 years.
got that.
and We'll both be
And talking about
retired.
decisions
We'll
in-
both be retired by then, I don't know.
Let's talk about decisions that happen in 3 and 4 years. What's coming up?
What's coming up? Meetings are coming up, I tell you. On 5/10 at 6 o'clock, the Addison Township Planning Commission will be meeting. And at 6:30 that same day, the Village of Oxford Council, another one of your favorites.
Yes.
And on 5/11, 7 o'clock, Oxford Township Board of Trustees, 2 big ones. And at 6:30 that same day, Oxford Board of Education will be meeting at the board offices in downtown Oxford. And on 5/12 at 6 o'clock, the Addison Township Zoning Board of Appeals. And at 7 o'clock, Oxford Township Planning Commission. And on 5/13 at 6 o'clock, the Addison Township Board of Trustees. And at 6 o'clock, the Village of Oxford Downtown Development Authority. And that's all I got.
Well, there's a bunch.
There's a bunch.
And I do want to say,
There's
though,
grist for your mill.
I want to remind people that August 2nd is a primary election, a local election in this area where you vote
When's the
for-
secondary one?
That will be in November. That'll be in November. Anyway, the election will involve elected officials to the village council as well as the township elected
I see.
officials. So,
Understand someone we know is running for the
who would that
township.
be? I have no idea. Until next time, stay tuned and find out who that might be. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
We'll catch you right here on Minutes by Minute.
See you then.